Ladies and gentlemen, I've been given a donation with a request for a video about dropping out of college and whether one should and what are the considerations. I myself, as you may know, am a college dropout, as was Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and quite a few other people, although I'm not quite in their caliber yet. I dropped out after attending 4 years full-time, and one odd thing I'll note about my dropping out, and I did write a poem about it called Colleges and Universities. Just type that in on YouTube or on my channel. I've got a version on each of my 2 channels, on my old channel as well. I wrote a poem on it, and I dropped out, it happens, in the 4th year when I had gotten better classes and teachers than any other time in the entire 4 years, except from one teacher in my very first year. Other than that, my very best teachers and classes came my 4th year. I had a class in ancient Greek drama, a class in Greek history, and a class in the history of the law. And what was sad about it was that those teachers were, I mean, all the other subjects are completely full of crap and evil and Marxism and garbage and nonsense. These were at least subjects that had something to teach about. And the abysmal quality of the teaching, even in those cases, was just profound. Not that I didn't have quality teachers. As per the state system, I had quality teachers. So I dropped out in spite of the fact that I had teachers who taught at more prestigious universities and taught part-time at my little university, CCSU. I dropped out in spite of the fact that I had pretty good teachers and finally was able to get some good courses, because I decided that I didn't want to work in the system that I would work in if I got a degree. That was the clinching factor. So that's what you have to ask yourself, I think. Should you drop out of college? Well, what are you going to do if you do drop out? And what are you going to do if you get your degree? I was going to get a degree to teach school, but I wouldn't want to teach in those schools. I wouldn't want to deal with those people. I was going to get a degree so that I could teach college. You don't really need a degree, you need to be a professional in a field, but that means getting a degree in a lot of ways. Those were my 2 goals, to teach college or primary school, and I didn't want to teach either one within the state system. So once I realized how bad the system was, and I realized I didn't want to have anything to do with it, that was it for me. Then you've got your options. So if you're thinking of dropping out, here's what my options would be. I had a priority list. Most important to me was education. I saw the field was shot. So in America, luckily, you're free to open a private school if you can get it together. In other countries, not the case. So, since I'm in America, I can do a private school instead of getting a degree. Or, if the private school turns out to be too difficult or too much bureaucratic crap or too much expense or something, too many lawsuits to fight against the people who want to unionize, if something like that happens, I've got another idea. I want to run restaurants. And I've got a third idea. I want to write books. Some types of books, even a novel or 2 maybe. So I've got my options. I don't need my degree. I can do these things without a degree. I think that's the key to ask yourself if you're going to drop out. What are you going to do without your degree? What are you going to... It's going to be hard work, and it's going to take years, possibly years, sort of like apprenticeship work, and then actual work as an authority in your field, even after that, to get a career. The one thing I will say, though, is that you'll save money on college, and you'll avoid the possibility of getting a degree and realizing that you've got to work, you've got to put your nose to the grindstone anyway, because your degree doesn't get you anything. You know, there are a lot of people that get degrees in different things, and then they end up just working as a bank teller or something, you know, which you can get with a high school diploma. I'll mention this. Taco Bell pays managers equivalent salaries to people who have 4- and 6-year degrees teaching school. So the benefits are better at the schools and job security's better, and maybe the work environment's better, but maybe not. But Taco Bell and McDonald's and any fast food place pays wages with all you need is a high school diploma, and probably not even that. You can get wages equivalent to what people who have degrees are getting paid. And then the thing is, if you get into a company like that, there are steps further up the ladder. Car dealerships, internet webmaster management services. There's a thousand places that you can make a living and do a good job at it. And it doesn't have to be an earth-shaking occupation, whatever occupation you choose. I mean, imagine if everyone on the planet decided that they're going to write the next Atlas Shrugged. Who would do everything else? Where would all the people who are going to revolutionize the planet and write Atlas Shrugged, where would they go out for dinner tonight if no one is running a decent restaurant? Now, I believed that the only way to get ahead in life was college. That's how I was raised. Either you are a farmer or you go to college. And the people who go to college often, I was told this much growing up, the people who go to college often end up doing nothing with their degree. Yet, I knew that in order to do anything in life, you have to go to college. Maybe going to college isn't all you have to do, but that's the first thing you have to do. That's where you have to start. That's what I believed. But, fortunately, I believe the secret is out about this. There are a lot of people who know and believe that a college degree is not as important as it should be or is thought to be or maybe once was. College degrees aren't all that. And, for example, Lisa Van Dam will not hire teachers with teaching degrees. She hires teachers with degrees, but not degrees in teaching. That's one example. It's gotten that bad. So if you do get a degree, make sure it's a field that you have to have a degree in. Don't get a degree in business management so that you can run a restaurant, okay? Go learn to run a restaurant. Learn it from the bottom up. Learn how to sweep and mop the floor and run the cash machine and everything else. Learn it from the bottom up. It's going to be hard work no matter what you do unless you get a job with your degree that lets you just sit back and be lazy and do nothing. Then you're going to have to work hard. And if you do get a job like that where you can just sit back and be lazy and do nothing, you're not going to like it. You know, if you just get stuffed in some bureaucratic framework somewhere and all you do is pass papers up and down, you're going to hate your job. So, I would say only get a degree if it's absolutely required for your field, and try to think of the second best option. You know, my first choice was to teach college, but that's just not an option. So what's option number 2? Well, I wanted to teach, so I'm going to teach primary school. What's your second option? Do you have to have the degree? No, it's not good to get a degree unless you really are burning with passion about that field. Due to the expense and the quality of the education. The expense is high and the quality is very low. And read my poem, Colleges and Universities, for a little bit of inspiration about that. There we go. I think that that's all I have to say about dropping out of college. Do it. Drop out unless you absolutely have to have the degree. Choose some other field to go into. It's better to do something you want to do than to get an expensive degree and then end up doing what you want to do and ignoring your degree later anyway. But I went to 4 years of school, so it's hard to tell anyone not to go to school. If you have any doubts, though, if you don't like it, if you don't have the money, if you're going into debt to do it, if you have a second desire besides the degree, that's where you should go. That's how bad the colleges are.